hope you are happy and healthy. Today in this class or in this session, we will discuss about electricity. What is electricity? It is a very important topic for our 10th class exams. Okay. Basically, electricity is divided into four major topics. What are these? It is electric current, electric potential, Ohm's law, and heating effect of electric current. There are four major topics, and these topics are very important for our CBSE exams. Okay. Today we will discuss about electric current. What is electric current and what is electricity? Basically, what is electricity? We have discussed these things in our lower classes too. What is electricity? If we can take a simple example, if we switch on the light, what will happen? We see that the bulb is glowing. The bulb is glowing in that case. And what is this? This is electric current or electricity. If we can take, maybe this term is very new to you. You ever heard about electric current? But what is electric current? If we can take another example, for example, if the river is flowing in a particular direction, with a very fast speed, what will happen in that case? If you put your leg inside that or your hand inside that, you will flow in that direction. What is that? Basically, we feel the current of the river. What is that? This basically we feel the current of a river or a current of a water. In similar way, there is a electric current. So what is electric current? Electric current is a of charges per unit time. It is a flow of charges per unit time. I know that each and every one of you know about this term, that it is a flow of charges per unit time. This is a bookish language. We don't have to memorize it. We just want to understand this term. What is meant by this? Flow of charges per unit time. There is a question came to your mind, how the charges can flow. Whether the charges can flow. What are the charges then? What are the charges? Hope you know about what are the charges. We use this term charges. Charges are basically, they are of two kinds. They are of two types, positive charges and negative charges. Positive charges are collaborated with or connected with protons, and negative charges are connected with electrons. You ever heard about this in lower classes, okay? Like charges can repel each other and unlike charges can attract each other. You know about these two terms. What are the charges, okay? To understand the concept of electric current, what do you mean by the flow of charges? Firstly, we have to understand about the two main terms. What are conductors? We all know that. What are conductors? Conductors are those in which the electrons or the charges can flow easily, which allow the electric current to flow through them, are called conductors, which allow electric current to flow through them. Okay. What are insulators? We know that. What are insulators? Which do not allow the electric current to flow through them, or which do not allow the charged particles to flow through them, are called insulators. Then what are insulators? Which do not allow the electric current to flow through them, or which do not allow the electric charges to flow through it. What are insulators? Which do not allow electric current or charges to flow through them. There are many examples of insulators are like carbon, are glass, paper, wood, and what are the conductors? All metals are conductors. We all know about that, okay? Then there is a question which came to our mind, why? why the current can conduct easily in a conductor but does not conduct in insulators. What are the difference between these two terms, conductor and insulators? Today we will understand what is the basic difference between conductors and insulator, why the conductor can easily conduct electricity or electric current while the insulator does not. Okay, let us take an example. Let us look at the blackboard. We can take an example of conductor. Firstly, we take an example of insulators. For example, we take an example of carbon. These are the carbon atoms. Hope you all know about the atoms because you have learned all these terms in your low classes, in your previous classes. Okay, these are atoms, and nucleus is present inside the atoms. This is nucleus. Nucleus of an insulator, nucleus of a carbon. Okay, these are the electrons which are present in the outermost shell of a carbon atom. These are the electrons which are present in the outermost shell of a carbon atom. If you look at the picture, you will observe that here there is no free electron. This is the nucleus of an atom, and all these outermost electrons present in outermost shell are very tightly packed. They are having very strong bond. I know that you all know about what are bonds. They are having very strong bonds between the atoms of carbon. They are having very strong bonds. That's why in case of insulators there are no free electron present over there. No free electrons present over there in case of an insulator. Hope you all clear with the term insulator. So it happen in case of a conductor. Aluminium, copper, silver, all are the examples of conductors, metals. Okay, these are metal ions. Nucleus of a metal ions. And these here, these all are aligned, okay? Here, there are free electrons. And these are metal ions. So, here we can get our answer. Because in case of a conductor, there are free electrons. Because of free electrons can move from one atom to the another atom, easily flow from one atom to the another atom. In case of conductors, that's why the conductor can conduct electricity. But in case of insulators, they are very tightly packed and they are very strong bond. So there is no free electrons. So that's why the insulator does not conduct electricity in that case. Hope everyone is clear with that topic, with that point. Okay. Then there is another question I think which just came to your mind is that what are free electrons? How they can flow from one atom to another atom? So it is quite difficult. I can understand you can't heard about the term free electron. You can easily heard about the term what is electron, but I don't think so you know about what are the free electrons. Okay. So I answer this question. Metals are just like king. They always want to donate. They always want to donate in such a way. We see that there are free electrons. They want to donate from one atom to the another atom. But insulators, they are not. Okay. So here I will answer your question why the electron, what are the free electrons and how they can move from, how they can flow. What is meant by the flow of free electrons. Okay. Okay, let us consider an example. I know that everybody know about that term atoms. What are atoms? Which is having a nucleus. And this is the outermost shell of an atom. The electron is present in the outermost shell. We are considering this is the nucleus and the electron is present in the outermost shell. we know that there are certain forces of attraction that bind the atom, that bind the electrons and the nucleus inside the atom, that bind these two forces. But these forces are lesser at the outermost shell than in the innermost shell. These forces are lesser in the outermost shell than in the innermost shell. That's why this shell is also known as valence shell, and these electrons are known as valence electron, and these electrons are known as valence electron. For example, we will consider that there are like n number of atoms are placed nearer to each other, one after the another, and we, for example, this is a pen. It is made up of an atom, and we apply the force on that pen. If we apply the force, we can't apply the force on a single atom. We apply the force on here. Okay. In that case, what will happen when we apply the force? The electron present in the outermost shell can leave that space. So this electron which leave that outermost shell is called free electron. So I think there is the answer of your question. What is free electron? So free electron is those electrons which can remove from the valence shell or the outermost shell of an electron. Then what will happen with this electron? This electron can easily go the another neighboring atom. This will go to the another neighboring atom, and the same process going on, same kind of forces apply on it, and this electron is releasing. Then this electron is going to the another atom, and this process is going on and on to the n number of atom. Okay, electron from each atom can lose and become a free electron and can easily transfer from one atom to the another atom. So what is this? This is known as the flow of charges or the flow of electrons. We learned what is this term is known as. This term is known as electric current. So flow of charges, flow of electron is known as electric current. Hope you understand this term, and there is no need to memorize this term. Why the electrons can flow? Why there is a word flow of electrons per unit time. Okay, clear with this term? There are certain basic terms which we have to understand for our 10th class. We have to understand what is it, what is the formula behind it. Of electric current, it is a flow of charges per unit time. The electric current is represented by capital I. Electric current is represented by capital I. It is a charge per unit time. Charge is represented by capital Q. Charge is represented by capital Q per unit time. Time is represented by small t. Q is charge per unit time. I is equal to Q by T, where I represent electric current, Q represent charge, and small t represent time. Then what is the SI unit? System International of unit of electric current is, what is the SI unit of charge? It is Coulomb, represented by capital C. And what is the SI unit of time? Is second, which is represented by small s. Second. So it is Coulomb per second, or there is another term which is ampere, which is represented by capital. So it is ampere or Coulomb per second. Gave honor to the scientist Henri-Marie Ampere. Okay, so that's why it is ampere. The SI unit is ampere. So basically, the device which is used to measure electric current, like we know that if we are having fever, check with the help of thermometer. Thermometer is a device which is used to check how much temperature we have. Similarly, there is a device which is used to calculate how much current is flowing through the circuit, is called ammeter. It's called ammeter. Ammeter is an instrument. Okay. Those don't confuse with these two terms. What is ammeter and what is ampere? Ampere is a SI unit of electric current and ammeter is an device or an instrument which is used to measure electric current. Then we can summarize or conclude our session that what we have learned in our session. We have learned about electric current. What is electric current? The definition of electric current, that it is a flow of charge per unit time. And we understand the term what is meant by the flow of charges. Basically, what is that? There are free electrons which are helpful for the conduction of or flow of charges because of free electrons present in a metal. And then another one, that electric current is represented by capital I. What is the SI unit of current? It is ampere and represented by capital A. Then device which is used to measure current is ammeter. Hope you can understand this topic and it is very helpful for you in your CBSE exam. Is ammeter. Hope you can understand this topic and it is very helpful for you in your CBSE exam. Namaste. Be happy and healthy. Thank you. Or flow of charges because of free electrons present in a metal. And then another one, that electric current is represented by capital I. What is the SI unit of current? It is ampere and represented by capital A. Then device which is used to measure current is ammeter. Hope you can understand this topic and it is very helpful for you in your CBSE exam. Namaste. Be happy and healthy. Thank you.